Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am one of the people that woke up at 5 a.m. to watch Perth. This is the Elimination Chamber rundown. This is the Dangerous Jobbers podcast.
People have been asking me to be the best in the world. Why, Eddie, why? I'm better than you.
My eyes surrender. I was in the back smoking a joint with their dad.
You know it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're back, baby.
We are back.
Man. And one of us did wake up at 5 a.m. to watch Perth, the Chamber.
One of us woke up at 5 a.m. The other one was in the back smoking a joint with Ben Gay. And you know
I find it funny that like I'm calling it Perth more. Like I call it Perth more than I call it the Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it just felt like Perth was a more interesting word.
Yeah,
like Perth just comes off like I watch Perth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a Perth show.
It was a Perth show. It was a Perth. It was the Chamber, but it was a Perth show. You know, like if none of the negative stigma of Saudi Arabia was there when they do the Saudi shows. You'd be like, I'll watch the Saudi John. You know what I mean? If it had no negative stigma, you'd be like, you know, the Saudi John.
Yeah, I mean, technically it's what it was.
I watch Perth, man. I watch Perth. But I'm your boy, Stevie Jobber.
And it's your boy, Dangerous Duke.
And this is the Elimination Chamber review, ladies and gentlemen. We skipped the women's tag match. It was in the kickoff, but it wasn't really part of the show. So we figured we'd scoot right past that one real quick. The people you thought were gonna win won. But Indy looked cool, and you know it was what it was. Perth.
I feel like every
all pod.
Yeah, every time somebody Australian pops up, we just gotta go Perth.
Perth. Oh, so let's go in order. First, of course, they started with the Chambers match, the women's chamber match.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this match may or may not have been better than the last one. Was this the better chamber for you?
Of the women's chambers, I would say yes. This was a little more put together than.
Do you think this was the best women's chamber you've ever seen?
I would have to go back and watch them, but off the top of my head, I feel like I could probably give it to them that this was the best women's chamber match.
I thought it was very impressive. I thought they added some new features to the chamber that made it more interesting that the women didn't use, but adding the mics, adding the cameras inside, very cool choice. I felt like they could have probably worked that a little more. But I like that addition to the chamber as far as chamber upgrades in itself.
Yeah, it was very good.
But I thought the women did fairly well. I think they did better than the men as far as the choreography. Oh, that sounds nasty. But the choreography, as far as like the moves, as far as what they did in the ring, what they did with the match, how they reinvented stuff, made stuff new, and just added a lot more character to everyone in the cell. I feel like it raised more names. What were your highlights?
I agree with you that it kind of raised stock in people a little bit. For sure, I think the one person whose stock went through the roof was Tiffany Stratton, because Perth was like on fire for her from the moment her music hit. The whole time she was active in the chamber, Tiffy time was alive and well in Australia.
It was on fire, man.
Yeah, like it was alive in Perth. Perth was feeling it.
Tiffy is she's undeniable, man. She's undeniable.
Yeah,
she's the next big thing.
I mean, she just might be. And then considering everything she did in that chamber, that swanton spot off the top, and then Liv getting her little extreme moments in, Naomi doing some cool stuff. It was a fairly good chamber match, if I don't say so myself.
Yeah. How do you feel about well, for anybody that didn't know, Lynch and Naomi started. There was Stratton, there was Morgan, there was Rodriguez, Belair, I feel like came out last.
That was the order.
Naomi beat Stratton. Then Stratton. Oh, Naomi was beaten by Stratton. Naomi lost first. Was that surprising to you, or did you feel like, well,
No, it's not, and the reason I tell you this is because you started off with your 2 seasoned veterans.
mm,
Naturally, Becky and Naomi have very good chemistry, can set pace, so you're gonna start it with them. Then you bring in the young blood, Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan, Raquel. You bring everybody in to all these moving parts.
that's true. They're kind of above the rest of that roster in experience.
Yeah, and then Naomi being the first one to go by the young blood, that wasn't a surprise for me. I did say during the match, damn, Naomi, you came back just to be the first one out in the chamber. But
Yo, that was my only thing, right?
it was still very good. I like the structure. I like how they positioned everybody. It made sense. It felt like it was where they needed to be. So I
Mm.
don't have too many complaints about the match or the
I
order.
thought I thought everybody got their stuff off. Um, I felt like all the really, I don't want to say young, because you would put Liv Morgan as more experienced than Bianca Belair, but I feel like all the people that really needed to raise their stock rose their stock in this match.
Yeah.
Stratton did extremely as well as I knew she was going to do. At this point, I feel like she's like I don't know, man, like a Kurt Angle, the way she's just adapting so well, so cleanly.
Hmm.
Um, she rose stock. Of course, Liv showed why she was a former world champion. Did much better than I expected her to do, I'll admit. Raquel did much better than I expected her to do, I'll admit. Still didn't want her to win. Still very happy that she didn't, but she was very impressive. And I'm cool with what if that's her new look, if there's a character behind that isn't too generic. I'm fine with her and like wrestling that style in the ring more. It was very aggressive. Felt like they got some good spots off. That spot with Liv jumping off the cell, and that kind of sit down splash on Rodriguez to get
Hmm.
away from Becky and Stratton. They had a lot of good spots, man. I felt like they did a lot of good delivery all the way up until maybe the end spots. Did you have any gripes with how they pulled that off? Me personally, I felt like that was kind of like it was kind of a cheap. It was kind of like a cheap way to get that off at the end because having Morgan take out Belair so fast just to run into, and I mean, not that Liv didn't put on an amazing performance, right? Because Liv was going back to back with the code breakers and the back breakers, and she like we said, very impressive. But to pull like this ultimate stretch out and kind of come up on a win for Belair, just to turn around right into the man slam was like, man, that was it's kind of a gimme at the end there.
Yeah, that was probably the only gripe. And for me, it was like if in both chamber matches, it felt
Mhm.
rushed.
It was a gimme. It felt like a gimme at the end.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, they still did good. Endings aside,
Hmm.
nothing's ever going to be super perfect in a chamber match. So, I mean, it is what it is. And at the end, I feel like we got the best case scenario in a way, if that makes sense. Because
I feel
really, there
like,
was there was nobody else in the chamber that could have went on to Mania aside from you know who.
yeah. I mean, it was the lesser of the two debatable evils.
Yes, that
Um,
and that's where we're at with it.
how confident are we that Bianca's still gonna get Jade? Because I feel like now it might be her and Stratton.
No, no, I feel like it could still be Bianca and Jade. I feel like this Raw and these next few episodes of Raw would be a very telling story as to who Jade is gonna get, because I feel like we're gonna get an appearance, we're gonna get a call out, and it's gonna be kind of like, I want the best of the best, and the best is gonna be Bianca. So I feel like that's still the match that's gonna happen at some point.
That could be roughly the promo too. I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Of just I want the best, and then of course the EST comes out.
Yeah, like I want the biggest, I want the fastest, I want the strongest, I want the best of the WWE. I want Bianca Belair.
And I mean, they already built that moment. Well, maybe it'll be Naomi and Stratton. I feel something coming because I don't know how they work all this into a women's memorial. I would imagine they're gonna do a women's memorial battle royal. If not, like I said, maybe a tag team memorial for the women's titles or a shot at the women's tag titles, because I feel like they're pushing. I was wondering why they weren't pushing Shayna, and it feels like they're pushing the chemistry between Shayna and Zoe Stark, and they're starting to form their women's tag. So maybe that results in some of this. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But it is interesting to see where, like, we had that cliffhanger before of where these other dominant women are going to end up on the card. Now that clearly it's going to be Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, but only time will tell.
Do you see Becky going over before we move on? Is Becky beating Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, or is this just another notch on the belt?
I made this phrase a long time ago, and I'm sticking to it. This is just another mommy effect.
Ooh,
just another mommy effect.
No, I'm with you. I fully hope this is just more of the mommy effect, and she kind of eats her alive. Moving on, we got, speaking of tag titles, Judgment Day versus the New Catch Republic. I thought they were just going to be, one of their previous names, Big Strong Boys. You probably couldn't say that, but they were going to be some iteration of British Strong Style. I like New Catch Wrestling or New Catch Republic. How do you feel about New Catch Republic?
I mean, the team itself was good. The name's got to grow on me a little bit, but I get it. It's a nod to, their home roots. It's a nod to how they came up. So it's not the worst name they could have come up with. It really isn't.
Real quick, what do you think of No Quarter Catch Crew? Like the name No Quarter Catch Crew.
I feel like that's too much.
It's too much, right? It's just not catchy enough. It's just
New Catch Republic.
Something about that.
It kind of rolls off the tongue a little easy. It sounded kind of Star Warsy to me at first. But,
yeah.
But when you sit and let it linger for a little bit,
Republic.
I mean, it works. It's not the worst name they could have made.
No, nothing. That name aside, that needs improvement. They had a great match. I felt Dom doing the intro for Judgment Day was genius. How awesome is it that he can be booed even in mommy's home country? Like, he's hated everywhere universally. Not even by association can save you. That's so funny. I thought they booed harder than most of the Americans.
Yeah,
it was so deafening. It was great. It was a great spot for Dom. I felt like everybody did exactly what they were supposed to do. It felt like very classic-y, very classic tag match. But at the same time, it had all those great classical elements of the bad manager getting kicked out after saving him a couple times, and they do just enough that they edge it out just by that good tag team timing at the end to steal a win away. I thought they did fantastic. I thought both teams did amazing. I think the tag teams division are striving right now. Maybe not as much as last year, but then again, those guys main evented WrestleMania. But I feel like the tag division for the men is looking amazing, and they're just gonna have to try to maneuver a way that it doesn't feel like the mommy effect for the Judgment Day tag, so that they eventually are able to lose them to WrestleMania. They got to find a tag team that doesn't feel just short of enough. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? They rekindled DIY, but I felt like even DIY was like just short of enough. Just like these two coming back. Everybody loved to see Pete Dunne get his name back. It's great Tyler got called up. They're very impressive. They look great together, but they felt just short of enough.
I feel like you could still get it done with DIY. You just
Mhm.
need to incorporate Truth a little bit more. Or you could even
Mm.
get it done with the New Catch Republic and have Truth kind of intertwangle with them
You
at
feel
some
like Truth
point.
needs to be at the forefront though of
Yeah,
those
yeah,
titles
Truth.
changing hands.
Yeah, Truth needs to be the common the common denominator. Truth needs to be involved in some way, shape, or form for them to lose the titles, and I
Hmm.
feel like it'll make it more believable.
Hmm.
But that aside, the tag match itself was great. Like you said, it was a very British strong style between Dunn, Bate, and Balor. Priest mixing it in with a little bit of his own flair at the end there.
Hmm.
I have no complaints. Right people won, my opinion. Match was decent enough. I I liked it. A lot of people were kind of on the fence of it. Like they didn't really give it as high of a grade as I thought they should have. They gave it decent grades, but not a high enough one. I thought the match was a lot better than people rated it.
So did I. So did I. I watched it start to finish. It was very thorough. There wasn't many botches. It was always impressive. It was surprise. It was fast paced. It was
Went longer than I thought it would too.
and
Granted, there was only
everybody
4 matches.
yeah. And everybody got their stuff in. Like it didn't feel too long, you know.
Hmm.
It didn't feel too long. It felt like it was a roller coaster the entire ride through.
Yes.
I'm not mad at it. People got to give it more of a shot. I mean, I think it might just be because of the again that predictability of
Yeah.
you
This,
know
this was a
building
very
these guys up
predictable show.
to just not be there, and we know that it's the last show to Mania. So I guess you gotta appreciate it from take the matches to this standpoint, but not everybody's gonna be like that.
True.
Um, the halftime show. I was glad they didn't put this at the end of the show. But the halftime show, the Grayson Waller Effect, co-hosted with Austin Theory. They featured Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. And
PERTH.
um, were you expecting Cody to call out The Rock for a one-on-one match? Did you feel like that was the way this story was leaning? Is this our vehicle to the triple threat, or are they just gonna have Cody beat both these guys? Like, what's happening here?
Ooh, see now I feel like I'm taking the bait and being tugged a little bit. I feel like they want us
Like,
to
this
go
is
to
a
that.
trap, right? Like, this is
Yeah,
clearly
like
not going.
I really hope it's not. I don't want to see as not to say Cody versus The Rock is going to be a bad match because it won't. But this
It's gonna
is
be great.
I feel like I feel like I'm in the majority here with wrestling fans when I say I don't need to see Cody versus The Rock night 1 and then see Cody versus Roman night 2.
Do you think they're gonna do it night one?
Well, when else would you do it?
I don't know. I don't
It,
know.
it, it can't be Cody versus Roman night 1 and
But
then Rock
that's
versus
such a
Cody night 2.
turn, though. That's such a turn, though, to be
The,
like,
so the
all
way
right,
I
instead of having Roman pull double duty on both of them, we're gonna have Cody pull double duty on both of them,
look, the way that I think it's
bro.
gonna happen,
Cody beating The Rock night one. I mean, listen, we're gonna be at night one, so if they do Cody versus Rock night one, I'm not gonna be mad about being there to experience it. But what a loop to throw Cody
I
through.
I tell you what,
Yeah,
I would not be surprised if it's more than one person pulling double duty for WrestleMania.
more than one. You're out of your mind, man.
Look, hear
You're
me
out of
out,
your
because
mind.
I'm still on the fence, and I still believe that it could be a tag team match. Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth, night 1. And then night 2, you have Cody versus Roman, and then you do Seth versus Drew. I still feel you could have you could have 3 guys pull double duty.
What the great thing is that I have no clue. I have no clue how they're gonna
Neither
turn this
do
thing
I.
out. And I mean, Rock in the beginning, like night one, after everybody was like, "Wait, no, we don't want this," and they blew Rock out the building, right? Even Rock, the first time he addressed the swerve, was like, "We're playing the long game." So I don't know what they have as the long game, but I mean, I gotta admit, I'm I'm too invested now at this point
I
because
mean,
I'm not sure where it could go. If
unless they're
Cody's,
really
yeah,
unless they're really, really doing the long game and bringing Rock in for something like a SummerSlam or
well,
maybe
that
next
was
year's Mania.
ironically enough, that was Sam Roberts' idea, was that maybe they do. Sam Roberts has the idea that Rock will beat Cody. I mean, that Roman will beat Cody, and it'll be Rock and Roman at some point, and then no, it'll be Cody beating The Rock again at some point, and that'll be the changing point that leads to Rock versus Roman at a WrestleMania, maybe the year after. So maybe Cody winning a Survivor Series prior to um prior to that next Mania. That was Sam Roberts' idea. Now I'm on the fence, so you really can't ask me. I want Cody to finish his story, but at the very same time, I, for selfish reasons, also want Roman to break the record for the longest reigning world champion.
Yeah.
So to me, either way, I'm getting some form of Cody, Rock, Roman, Seth, all mixing it up towards and or at WrestleMania. Win-win situation for all of us, in my opinion. But I think that's the beauty of it, is that we have no idea where they're actually going to take this. Is
And
it going to
it's
hit them on a random Monday night? Is it going to be a Friday night prior? Is it going to be the Friday night before WrestleMania? Is it? I don't know.
now see
I don't know. It's got to be something.
this is what makes us nervous,
Hmm.
but we haven't been nervous in a long time for unpredictable reasons.
Yeah.
This is a good thing. Because how often are you able to stump us as
I'm not
wrestling
mad at
fans
it.
and as like stoots of the game?
Hmm.
This is a good thing.
And I'll tell you, it wasn't the only swerve of the night. Check over to the men's elimination chamber. I will say even though I felt the women's match was better, I do feel like both matches were great. I feel like both matches did exactly what they were supposed to do and went exactly how I thought they were supposed to go, up until, again, the ending couple things that kind of threw me for a swerve.
Uh-huh.
Um, so they have McIntyre and LA Knight start the match. Kevin Owens, shout out to Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. I feel like those two made the match better. I feel like
Hmm.
they did nothing but make the match. See, this is why, as much as people were upset that it wasn't going to be LA Knight for the US title, I don't I thoroughly disagree. Like, take a back seat. I don't care about your opinion for this one. Kevin Owens and Logan Paul are perfect for each other. They are like born to be enemies. Both their characters mold perfectly into each other, because Kevin and Logan made that chamber. Logan with the marker, Kevin with his just being out of
Insanity.
control. Kevin being insane and out of control. Both the spots were amazing. But like we said, LA Knight and McIntyre started, then Owens, Lashley, Orton before Paul. Not what I thought was going to happen. Mrs. Jobber called Paul coming last though, so I guess I guess she's getting more of an IQ than me these days. But they put Orton in, then they put Paul in, and then slowly everybody starts to fall. Lashley first. I want to say Lashley was probably the most predictable one to go first.
Hmm.
Which is wild to say about Bobby Lashley, but let's face it, nothing about his arc is pointing to heavy WrestleMania main event status, right?
No.
So he gets eliminated by McIntyre. Then McIntyre eliminates LA Knight. Oof, that hurt some people. But McIntyre eliminates LA Knight via the help of TNA alumni AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Coming in out of nowhere before they close up the Elimination Chamber on Lashley. Flies in, steel chair, and takes out LA Knight. He's ripe for the picking from Drew McIntyre. And I will say the story of this chamber probably was a reverse of karma. But we'll get to that later. So LA Knight eliminates Lashley. LA Knight takes out, McIntyre eliminates Lashley. McIntyre eliminates Knight via the help of AJ Styles. That connects AJ Styles to LA Knight. That before, fun fact, before this even happened, before this show even started, probably a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, I had an epiphany that it was going to be LA Knight and AJ Styles, just for the linear fact of AJ's story that nobody was paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
People seem to forget that the main reason AJ had a gripe with LA Knight is because he kept getting in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And me seeing how they clearly were not going to leave AJ off of WrestleMania had called that it was going to be AJ and LA Knight. So anybody, again, upset about LA Knight not doing the US title, forget you guys. He just got practically the Undertaker at WrestleMania. That is the biggest win you can get outside of a championship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there is no other force that big and respected that everybody wants to be in the ring with that can be so good they don't need a belt at WrestleMania. If there's somebody for that, it would be AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
So LA Knight gets AJ Styles. McIntyre eliminates LA Knight. Now, after that, Orton goes on a run. Orton eliminates Kevin Owens, then eliminates Logan Paul, as Logan Paul was going for his brass knuck spot, which I thought was hilarious. What was your reaction to that hilarious brass knuck spot of Paul just doing this stupid
Yeah,
chant,
doing the like the like, bro, if you're gonna stand there for 8 minutes and do a little kamehameha, whatever you want to
you
call
gotta
it,
be expecting.
you're gonna do your little Green Lantern pose. You know something. You know Randy coming out of nowhere. Yeah, Green
That's what
Lantern
it was,
Paul.
though. It was like this Green Lantern, I have to
bro,
ring of destiny, and then
yeah,
get
and
swiped
literally as
out
soon as
of
the
there.
hand comes back down, you go boom.
Boom.
That
Right
was funny
there.
though. It was
A
funny.
great spot. It was very comical. I thought it was, again, like these Logan Paul and Kevin Owens kind of making all the really funny parts of the night.
Mm-hmm.
They work so well together, and maybe it was their chemistry that threw me off to the moment after Randy Orton eliminates Logan Paul. RKO out of nowhere to Logan Paul. Huge pop. Paul is out. Owens is out. And I found it funny saying to myself, oh man, Owens went out. And they kind of left the door open for a minute, but Logan Paul didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Then Paul gets eliminated by Randy, and I go, I guess they did enough at the beginning for it to just be to build up to Paul versus Owens. I guess there's not going to be a spot with it. And then before I know it, Logan Paul takes a swipe at Randy Orton, knocks him clean out, ripe for the picking again for Drew McIntyre. McIntyre wins via help from Logan Paul. And suddenly, plot twist, it looks like a triple threat for the US title with Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and Logan Paul. And again, what a score for Logan Paul to be tied between two of the very, and Randy Orton, the living legend killer, and Kevin Owens, the man that went one-on-one with Stone Cold Steve Austin to close out of WrestleMania. I mean, what better pick for a US title match? I feel like that's probably the most anticipated I've ever been for a US title match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna take the house down. Like they're gonna deliver on a whole nother level.
That I'm calling it now. On today's date, when this airs, 2/27/2024, minute 31, that may be the match of the night for WrestleMania.
That may be the match of the night. That may be match of the night.
I'm calling it now. I'm Babe Ruth. I'm calling my shot. I'm pointing at the fence. That's gonna be a match of the night.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you just have too many great working factors. You got a young kid that can do anything. You got Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, who are two masterminds of making matches and putting great spots together. Randy doesn't have to do too much, but he can be just effective enough. You know, it's gonna be incredible.
And I'll tell you this: if it's a triple threat, I don't give a rat's ass who wins. I really don't.
Yeah, that too. I don't care who wins either. Could you imagine? You know what's funny? I don't care who wins, and I think it'd be even better if Logan Paul comes out as still champ. I don't expect him to, but it would make me even. It would pop me personally if he found a way to get out of that, because you know what that would remind me of is just some low ball, old school Seth, old school Randy Orton stuff.
Yeah,
where they put because it was classic with Randy and Seth, where they would put them in these situations, and Edge, where they would put them in these situations where these slime ball people were never supposed to make it out, and they keep finding a way. It would be even cooler. It would be even cooler if they find a way for Logan Paul to pull this out. But either way, no matter who wins, very, very, very eager to see that match.
You and me both.
So let's talk about the less anticipated part of this match. McIntyre winning against Randy Orton, and it being officially McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. I mean, we all saw it coming, but like I said, the story of the Chamber really was all the karma of people causing Drew McIntyre to lose to finally reverse in a situation where McIntyre won the Chamber finally and won a match to get him a shot at the world title, but of nothing of his own doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's
fully
not
the result of everyone else.
Again, not the result that everybody was super happy and super excited to have happen, but at this point, you know, there really was no other choice. There was no other option for Seth at Mania. It couldn't be LA Knight. It couldn't be Kevin. Bobby hasn't been on a hot streak, and then Randy and Kevin, obviously, they got their own thing going now with Logan. So we got what we got. Is it going to be a good match? Absolutely. You're in there with Seth. You're in there with Seth. It's going to be a great match. Seth goes in there, wrestles a broomstick, and makes it 5 stars. But is everyone over the moon for Drew McIntyre? Not really. But it is what it is. We can't sit here and dwell on it. We just gotta make the most of it.
It's not what I want to see night one.
Oh God, no, please.
No, but it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be better if Damian cashes in on him. It's gonna be better if Damian cashes in on him and does the heist of the century as a repeat at WrestleMania 40 to take that butt off of Drew and start that feud. I'd be much happier about that.
Okay, I will be happy if 2 things happen if that match is night 1.
Yes.
Number 1, Priesty cashes in and wins.
Yes.
Number 2, give us Broken Dreams. At WrestleMania, give us Broken Dreams.
That might change my whole opinion of Drew, though. I can't hold you. If he had Broken Dreams at WrestleMania, I might be a Drew fan for that match.
But like, just think of the word. I'm not even going to sing the song, right? Just think of the words.
Drew is a different Drew.
Just think of the words in your head and think of this storyline for Drew McIntyre.
Yo, but okay, all right.
It's gotta
have a whole change of heart in front of us, dude. Because listen, Because listen, all right, listen. If he hit Broken Dreams, we already think Drew. That I don't know about you, but I already expect Drew to win the belt. Do you expect Drew to win the belt?
Oh no.
No, I expect Drew to win. But here's my thing. I expect Drew to win. I don't necessarily. It wasn't necessarily the match I wanted, but I do expect Drew to win. I expect Seth to get some time off. But I'll tell you this: if Drew hits Broken Dreams at Mania, and I'm already expecting him to win, I think that'll be the last straw for me to completely be sold on the new Drew McIntyre.
No,
Because there's things about him that I enjoy. I just wasn't preferring this match. Like I enjoy the praying for people. I
is that
enjoy the condescending attitude. I enjoy this like all of your misfortunes are lining up perfectly for me. And now I can just rub it in your face after weeks and weeks of you guys telling me that it's my fault and blah blah blah. So it's this weird. He's reaching this weird crossroads as a character where he didn't exactly. He's not exactly right. Things are just lining up for him perfectly. Like the misfortune of others is just suddenly leading to his success. He's not doing any of this, but it just so happens he's in the right place at the right time to get right back where he wants to go. And I like that as a bad guy. I like the bad guy that feels right because everything fell into his lap and not necessarily because he's right. That's a great bad guy.
no? He's taking broken dreams and making them come true. I'm just gonna leave it there.
So to play Broken Dreams at Mania would be such a full circle that I would have to be like, okay, we got it. I have to be a true fan. But until that moment, I'm holding out because as much as he deserves it, and as much of a good match as it's going to be, and as much as Seth needs the time off, and I expect Drew to win, something in me is like he's not quite there yet for me.
And
So
think of the chamber match. He got 2 eliminations from the help of other people.
and this helps. The chamber match does help. The chamber match does help.
What is another line in that song? You never hear the shot that takes you down.
Mm.
We need broken dreams. We need broken dreams.
Now, if they don't play it, I'm gonna be upset.
I just pitched the perfect reason for them to bring. I just pitched the perfect reason.
We're clipping that up. That's an amazing reason to bring back Broken Dreams. Maybe this is all. Maybe this is the long game for Drew. Maybe they planned it out this far, man. Maybe this is Broken Dreams Drew we're about to get back. Like prime Broken Dreams Drew. Anyway, we got to move on to the main event. And of course, we got to put Mommy on top. It was Rhea Ripley in Perth against Nia Jax for the women's title, closing out the show. Nia, I will say, very impressive. Looked amazing. I thought she rose her stock very high.
Yes,
Nia Jax went in there, did exactly what she was supposed to do. She put on a very Samoa Joe performance. If it wasn't Perth, I think the crowd would have been much more convinced that she could have lost that belt. But I feel as though because they were in Perth, that there was no way, like even in the moments where it looked convincingly, like if you had this match anywhere else in the world, there were key spots in this match that were reflective of other matches and moments in history where you thought this could be the moment that guy's staying down.
Yeah, but if this was like if this was in, I don't know, Des Moines, Iowa, or I don't know, Glasgow, Scotland,
you'd have thought for sure for a couple seconds like this could be, maybe they are going to go with Nia because she looks so dominant. And I don't think there was anything that really, there wasn't anything that really turned the tide so much as Mommy just found a way in the end. Which I got to be honest with you is probably the best way to write it. It it makes Nia Jax take a back seat for a while, but it builds Rhea Ripley to it puts Rhea Ripley at the level she needs to be at. Right?
Yes.
It elevates Nia to main event status, but it lifts Rhea Ripley to God mode. It reestablishes who Rhea Ripley is before WrestleMania, because it creates a clear gap. Let's say that. It creates a clear gap because I've beaten the person Becky Lynch lost to. If so facto, I should be able to beat Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
We've now clearly determined that Nia can beat one and cannot beat the other. Clear gap. I see Rhea going over. I don't think a surprise is coming at WrestleMania, but it is very interesting that they use Nia to create that gap.
Yeah, but that also kind of puts Nia in a tough position because it's like, all right, great. Now we know it's going to be Becky and Rhea. We know Bayley is getting Io. We know Bianca is most likely getting Jade. Tiff is most likely getting her own match with somebody that's not you.
Probably Naomi.
Where does that leave you?
I don't know. I mean, they can't keep running these triple threats, right?
Yeah,
It can't be a
no.
triple threat for that belt too, right? They can't
God.
have Nia still. Because I mean, listen. Because if they weren't having so many triple threats, I am all for Nia just not taking no for an answer, showing up on Raw during the promo with Becky and
Nia,
Becky and
Rhea.
Rhea, and laying waste to both of them and being like, "F no, you got lucky, and I kicked your ass already. So I don't care about your place in line. I'm not stopping until I get Rhea Ripley's belt." And they take that to a triple threat at WrestleMania. But
No.
that's too many triple threats potentially, because if you do The Rock and Roman and Cody, if it ends up that way, that's a triple threat. You already got US triple threat. Now you're gonna make a women's triple threat. That's not gonna work. That's too many.
Yeah.
It depends. It just depends. It depends. But it's a tough question. It's the one cliffhanger we have from PERTH. Is where all these other high profile women gonna end up on WrestleMania's card? Because everything else has been answered. We know who LA Knight is getting. We know what the US title match is looking like. We know what both the men's matches, as far as the championship matches, are looking like.
Potentially, we know what the IC title is looking like.
We potentially know what the IC title is looking like. We even potentially know what the tag titles are looking like. We just don't know where all these other high-profile women are falling on the card, or where the actual women's tag title belts are going to be either. Because even though Bayley's tied up in this thing with Dakota and them, they're not going to have Bayley pull double duty and win the tag titles, right? So the Kabuki Warriors got to be involved in something else.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm not even gonna touch the Kabuki Warriors thing. That's a whole nother can of worms. But it leaves a couple question marks, but I feel like that's what the next month or so is gonna unravel for us, because we have a good idea of where about 80% of WrestleMania is going. It's the last 20% that's got us kind of stuck in limbo. And I feel like that's what these next few weeks of Raw and SmackDown are going to do for us. We're going to figure out where these placements
all the other chips fall. Yeah.
We're going to figure out where the women are ending up, where the tag titles are ending up, where everything else is. It's going to work itself out.
Definitely. So, in summation, give me your grade for the show and what your thoughts on Triple H's stock are at, seeing Triple H come out before the main event, announce the record-breaking whatever, seeing all the thank you Hunter signs.
So my grade, I'll be honest with you, I'm normally very stingy when it comes to grading pay-per-views.
He is notoriously.
I'm gonna give it a B.
Give it a B?
Right. Yeah. I feel like
I'll take a B. It didn't feel like an A.
No, but I feel like that's fair on my part. For me to give it a B.
That's
I could
fair.
have been stingy and went full Simon Cowell, gave it a C, C plus.
Mm-hmm.
No, there was some great stuff there. It wasn't, start to finish amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was better than Clash at the Castle. It was better than any Saudi show.
You think it was better than Clash at the Castle?
Yeah,
I think it was better than any Saudi show we've ever gotten.
I think it was better than Clash at the Castle. There was like one match at
was Clash where Solo came up? Because that's where he fought Drew, right?
Yeah, that's where Solo came in.
And he cost Drew the belt.
So, yeah, but it's still better than Clash. Slightly better than Clash at the Castle. Better than any Saudi show. It wasn't better than Puerto Rico, in my opinion.
No, I don't think.
So,
I think Puerto Rico
I gave Puerto Rico an A minus.
Mm-hmm. That's
true.
That's true.
I gave it an A. I didn't give it the A plus.
It's terrible.
No,
but I'll give Omega. No A plus.
Yeah, I know.
That's all right. It's all right.
Don't fuck with Carlito's music.
That's true. That'd be the one tidbit, wouldn't it?
No, right, but all things considered, solid B for me. Maybe even a B plus.
I think I give it a B plus. I won't give it an A. It didn't feel like an A, but I felt like they did everything they were supposed to do, and maybe had the results been a little more, what's the word, definitive, I would have been less likely to lower the grade. Had the end not felt like gimmies both times, then I'd have felt, you know what I mean? Had they went a different way with one of the chambers and had them win clean, but it felt like both of these were kind of the result of other things. You know what I'm saying? Had Liv not made the idiot decision to take out the second most powerful person while not checking on Becky Lynch, she wouldn't have been knocked out. I feel like that was totally Liv's fault. Had Liv just like step back for a second and like assess the situation. But whatever. And then as far as Randy and Logan, like I gotta tell you, Triple H, that was a swerve for me. Did not see him punching out Randy Orton. Did not have that one in the cards.
No, that wasn't on the bingo card.
But again, a gimme for Drew McIntyre, and only because we've repeated giving the gimme at the end. I'll give it a B plus. But it was a great show, start to finish, even though it was 5 a.m. It was quite the good show.
It was 5 a.m. for you. It was 8 p.m. for me.
It was it was 8 p.m. for you.
I stood off social media all day.
I'm proud of you. I didn't think you could do it. I didn't think you could pull it off.
It was commitment.
But guys, that's the card. That was PERTH. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave us your comments. Leave us your thoughts. Did you think AJ Styles was going to come in for LA Knight? Were you on my level? Do you think the mommy effect is still at large and Rhea's going over at Mania? Like, subscribe, follow us on all the little links at the bottom of the video. And ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Elimination Chamber PERTH review.
People have been asking me to be the best in the world. Why?
Wait. Before we cut it off, we got to do this right. You got to say the thing. If you don't say the thing, we can't end it.
Okay, we gonna do it.
We got to say the thing.
We're gonna do it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys stay up. Make sure you guys stay blessed. And as always, stay dangerous.
People have been asking me to be the best in the world. Why, Eddie? Why?